Wow, what an event. Sure makes me feel proud to be a Rotarian. Life, life should be an exciting adventure. You should wake up every morning and say, Rotary, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve, to give something back to the community, to help the less fortunate people around the world to have a better life. I think that's why most people join Rotary, because they really want to do good. They want to make the world a better place. But unfortunately, a lot of Rotarians are like a lot of people. They really, really want to do good, but for some reason, they never get around to doing it. Why is that? I think the reason is that they're in a box. I call this a conformity box. Now, when you're in that box, you don't like change. You fear failure. You don't like to take any risks. But you know what? Most people in a box, they're happy, so I don't have any problem with that. But if you want to soar like an eagle, you got to get out of that box. And in order to get out of that box, you have to be able to do one very important thing. You have to be able to take action on those things that you want to accomplish. You might say, whoa, that's easy. That's easy. I can take action. In reality, it's not easy. Let's say you go to the doctor and you're 50 pounds overweight, and the doctor says to you, you know what, if you don't lose those 50 pounds, you're going to die. You say, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to die. So immediately you say, I'm going to go on a diet. You think of all the good things that are going to happen. I'll feel better. I'll look better. I'll be able to get new clothes. My friends will be praising me. I'll have less chance of a heart attack, a stroke, diabetes, or dying. You can go on and on and on with all of these benefits. So why? Why do most people like go on a diet? Why don't they lose the weight? I think the reason is they don't look at the other side of the equation, these rotten, stinking deterrents that want to sabotage your goal. So if you want to lose weight, you got to give up pasta, desserts, French fries. You got to get on a treadmill. You got to walk around the block 10 times. And all diets say you got to drink 8 glasses of water every day. Now, if these things become so powerful that they outweigh the benefits, there's no way you're going to be able to take action. So if you want to take action, you got to look at these negative thoughts and you got to beat them with a stick. You got to minimize them or get rid of them, or else you won't be able to do anything. When I was growing up, all I wanted to do was to be a Major League Baseball player. And I must say, with all due modesty, I was pretty good. High school, I was all state. College, I was all American. In the Army, I was all Army. And the first year in the Boston Red Sox organization, I led the entire organization in home runs. I said, I'm on my way. So one day I'm out in the field, the manager comes up to me, he says, hey, George, we got a new bonus baby in town. We want you to be his roommate, his mentor. I said, get out of here. I can hardly take care of myself. He says, come on, George, you're the guy we picked. We want you to be his mentor. I said, okay, what's his name? He said, Carl Yastrzemski. Now, for those of you that are too young to know much about baseball, Carl Yastrzemski became one of the best players in the history of baseball. He's in the Hall of Fame. So one day I'm out there, I hit a home run. After the game, I said, Carl, we got to go out. We got to go celebrate. He says, no, I don't want to go. I said, what do you mean you don't want to go? You're my roommate. You got to go. Okay, he goes. We go to the restaurant. I'm sitting down. A waiter comes over. He says, what do you want to drink? I said, I'll have a Budweiser. Carl, what kind of beer you want? He says, no, I don't drink beer. What do you mean you don't drink beer? You're a baseball player. All baseball players drink beer. He says, no, I don't want beer. I said, okay. I'm having my beer. Fan comes up. A little later, he says, George, nice home run. Buys me a beer. Not too long after that, another person comes up. He buys me a beer. I get to the ballpark the next day. I'm in trouble. I can hardly see. My eyes are bloodshot. My head is pounding. I said, I don't know if I can play. I look out in the outfield. Here's Carl doing wind sprints and push-ups. Needless to say, he made the major leagues, and I didn't. I look back at that time all the time. I said, I really blew it. I was not able to take the correct action to meet my goals. It was very sad. Back in 2006, I was living in a little town in Oregon, and I was in a Rotary Club, and a lady came and talked about installing stoves to the poor Mayan Indians in Guatemala. At the end, she said she needed some volunteers. I raised my hand. I'd never done anything like that in my entire life. I go to Guatemala. These Mayan Indians, they live in these little huts with dirt floors. They have 3 stones on the ground. They put the wood on the stones. That's how they cook. That's how they keep warm. They do everything. But you can't see a foot in front of you. They don't have any windows, no ventilation. And little girls, 14 years old, walking around with babies strapped to their back. You know that they're going to get sick. And some of them are going to die. So we put a stove in, chimney through the roof, and all of a sudden it's clear. We were saving lives. It was a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And that's what Rotary gave us that opportunity. I'm in the back. I'm putting a stove together. I'm on my hands and knees. I look up. Here's this girl, maybe 14 years old, looking at me. We couldn't communicate, but I know what she was saying. She was saying, Rotary, thank you. Thank you for saving my life. Saving the life of my mom, my papa, my brother, my sister, all the people in the village. Thank you. I got up off my hands and knees. I went over, I gave her a big hug. After the hug, when we broke, I looked at her face. She still had that huge smile on her face. It changed my life. I said, I got to help these people. So when you do a project like that, you have to have a Rotarian in that country. So I asked the people, can I talk to a Rotarian? They all mentioned the same guy, Juan Carlos. I go up to Juan Carlos and say, Juan Carlos, I'm going to be president of my club in a few months. What can I do to help your country? Without hesitating, he said, George, if you could do something about the water, all the drinking water in Guatemala is polluted. Kids are dying, awful deaths. If you could do something, that would be wonderful. I said, I'll do it. I'm flying back to Oregon. And I say to myself, oh, what did I just promise? My club had been in existence for 50 years. We had never done a World Community Service project. We don't have any money in our budget. I don't know how to do the paperwork or raise the money. And I got all these negative thoughts. But then the picture of that girl's face came up. And I said, I got to do it. I got back home. I called my friend up in another Rotary club. And I said, hey, our club's going to do a humanitarian project. We're going to supply clean drinking water to the poor people in Guatemala. He said, well, George, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. He says, how big? How big a project? Heck, I didn't know. I know he wanted me to say something big. So I said, $10,000. He said, George, that's not enough. You got to raise $25,000. $25,000. How can I do that? We don't have any money in our budget. He says, you just have to ask. So I got all the emails of all the presidents in our district. And I emailed them and I said, hey, we're doing a water project. We're going to save lives. This is a fantastic thing. I need some money. I need your support. 2 weeks go by. Nothing. I says, wow, this is hard. I said, this is hard work. So I said, but I'm not going to give up. I started emailing him again. Come on, babe. We need money. We need support. I'm doing a great thing here. All of a sudden, some money started coming in. And some more money came in. And all of a sudden, we did a grant. We were saving lives. We were supplying clean drinking water. I said, this is a fantastic feeling. I'm going to do another one. So I did another one. And then I did another one. And then I said, I'm going to offer this project to all the clubs in my district. And they start doing it. And then I said, I'm going to offer this to all the clubs in the United States and Canada, and they start doing it. But then Rotary changed the rules. It's happened several years ago. You might not have been Rotary at that time, but the thing was that they were going to have 100 districts, and those 100 districts can partner with each other. You couldn't partner with those 100 districts unless you were one of the 100 districts. Our district was not going to apply. So I called up all my friends in Guatemala and said, hey, don't apply, because if you apply and they accept you, I won't be able to help you anymore. Well, they didn't listen. They applied and they became one of the 100 districts. I said, I'm out of business. What am I going to do? I don't know. I'm standing there. Then all of a sudden, I get a message from somebody. They say, I want to be your friend. What is this? I don't even know this person. In the garbage. Next day, I get another message. I want to be your friend. Who are these people? In the garbage. When I got the third message, I looked into it. It was Facebook. And I said, oh my God, this is fantastic. We got all these Rotarians from all over the world, district governors, doing all sorts of wonderful things. I said, I'm back in business. So I picked a country. I don't know why I picked it, but I picked India. And I looked up, they got a lot of districts. And I looked it up and I said, I got the names of all the district governors, and I found out if they were on Facebook, and a lot of them were on Facebook. So I got their name and I said, hey, you want to be my friend? They said, of course I'll be your friend. You want to do a water project? They said, of course I'll do a water project. So I'm doing all these water projects in India. And then I start doing them in another country, the Philippines and Lebanon, Nigeria. Make a long story short, I've been able to help over 2 million less fortunate people in 34 countries to get life-saving, clean drinking water. Now, when I look back at that plane ride, I could have very easily have let those negative thoughts overwhelm me, and then nothing would have happened. So if you want to do something, you got to get rid of those negative thoughts and take action. Several years ago, I was asked to talk at a PETS. That's where they train new presidents. It was a big PETS. It was out in Denver. They had 3 or 4 districts together. So I talked about water. At the end of my talk, I said, you know what? In your year as president, this once in a lifetime opportunity, if you want to do something with water, I can help you. I can find a project. I can find a country to work in. I can help you with the paperwork. I can help you with fundraising. I can do everything for you. If you want to do something else, that's fine. But if you want to do something in water, leave your card in this jar here. At the end, I counted them. I got 135 cards. I got all their email addresses. I bombarded them with information for a year. I got this project. I got that project. I got this fundraising. I did this, that. And then I for a year, I did that. At the end of the year, of these 135 presidents who had this once in a lifetime opportunity, who said they wanted to do something with water, only 4 were able to do anything. That means 131 presidents could not take the proper action, which is very sad. Several years ago, I was going to take my annual physical. After the physical, the doctor calls me up and he says, hey, George, how do you feel? I said, I feel good. I get on a treadmill. I play golf 3 times a week. I feel good. Why are you asking? He said, because the results show that you lost half of your blood. Whoa, what are we going to do about it? He said, well, you got to go to the hospital right now and get a refill. I went to the hospital. It took me half a day or more to get a refill. I said, what now? He said, take some more tests. So I took some more tests. And then he calls me up and he says, hey, George, you have colon cancer. I'm telling you, when you get told that you have cancer for the first time, it changes your life. You look back at all those things you've accomplished during your lifetime, but you also look back at all the things that you really wanted to do, and for some reason, you never got around to doing them. And you say, if I get this opportunity and I live, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to do them bigger, and I'm going to do them better, and I'm going to do them now, not next year, not next month, not next week, but now. I'm telling you, you take that attitude in life, you'll be a better person. You'll be a better Rotarian, and the world will be a better place. So stop procrastinating. So what am I doing now? I'm helping, I help raise money for water and cleft palate grants. I do it by selling my paintings. When I retired, I took an adult education course in oil painting. And it was myself and 20 ladies. We all painted the same thing. At the end of it, I looked at my painting. I said, I like this. I like this. So I started painting. I painted for several years. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to try to sell these. I try to raise some money for these grants. So I went out in a garage. I picked out a painting that I liked, and I framed it. And I said, I'm going to sell this on Facebook. And I'm saying, how much am I going to sell this for? I never sold one before. Wait a minute. What is that? I don't understand that. But it says, what am I going to do? It says, I'm going to sell it for $500. And I'll take that $500 and I'll put it into the grant for the buyer's personal Paul Harris Fellow credit. That's a good deal. My wife said, are you crazy? You'll never be able to sell that for $500. I said, I'm going to try. I put it on Facebook. 8 minutes later, I get a message from a district governor in Texas. He said, George, I want that painting. I want to buy that painting. I said, whoa, I'm a professional. I run out in the garage. I get another painting. I put it on a screen. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden that sold and another one sold. Make a long story short, I've sold hundreds of paintings, raised thousands of dollars. And when I come around to thinking about it, it was a good thing. It was a hobby, and I'm doing good with my hobby. So I got paintings hanging in 19 different countries. I have paintings hanging in Rotary presidents and trustees and directors' houses. It's wonderful. Now I concentrate on selling pet portraits. People love their pets. And I paint them, and pets never talk back to you. It's wonderful. In just a short period of time, I've been able to sell almost 500 pet portraits. It's wonderful. It's a hobby. And I was able to take action on it and do good with it. So let me tell you about 3 of my heroes. One is a young man from our district. His hobby was canoeing, and his passion was to raise money for Shelter Box. And so he said, how can I do this? So he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to canoe down the entire Mississippi River. And when I'm doing that, I stop and I'll talk to Rotary clubs morning, noon, and night. He did that. He was a young man, so he had to take off from work. And it took him a long time. And at the end, he raised thousands and thousands of dollars. Second hero is a lady. When she was a young lady in Australia, she had polio. So her purpose in life was to raise money for polio. She became passionate about that. And then she came up with an idea, a simple idea. She said, Rotarians will get together, they'll have a meal, and at the end of the meal, they'll donate some money. They'll donate some money to Polio Plus. She called it World's Greatest Meals. She was so passionate about it, she traveled all over the world to promote this idea. And she has been able to raise millions of dollars for Polio Plus. The third one is as a man, he lost a family member to Alzheimer's. And he said, I gotta help with Alzheimer's research. He came up with a simple idea. At the Rotary meetings, he put a can on each table, and people would take out their coins and their dollar bills, and they put it in the can. He called it CARD. It's called the CARD Fund. It's called, what is it called? Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust. A simple idea. He's raised millions of dollars for Alzheimer's. Why do I tell you these stories? I tell you these stories because you could do the same thing. You just have to have a purpose. You have to find that purpose. Then you have to become passionate about that purpose. And once you become passionate, the world is just going to change for you. And then you got to take action. So remember, life should be an exciting adventure. Thank you. Now, the next speaker, you're going to be hearing some good stories. She's a lady, and her purpose is to affect positive change. You're going to look forward to this. It's going to be great. Thanks a lot.